Okay, so last class I told you to do some note, right? Isn't it? We're supposed to present today a little bit of your topic.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, bro.
Regarding our theory, right?
Pardon?
Yeah, our title
Regarding our
and
theory.
Your theory and title, right? I just asked you to read, I think just around 3 articles,
Yes.
right?
Yes, 3.
3 articles just to look at the theory they use regarding your topic.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, so never mind, okay? We
But
will,
but I make presentation for my topic. Just only my topic, doctor. Isn't it?
yes, just for your topic.
Oh yeah. But we have to read the 3 articles, right?
Yes, okay? 3 articles related to your topic. Maybe it's just the same as your topic. And then we want to look at what the theory they use.
okay.
Okay, so later on when we share, it's a really just like a discussion. You just tell me what are the 3 topics, I mean the 3 articles, the titles, okay, and the theory that they use. And how they use the theory, okay?
Okay, doctor.
Alright. Okay, so before we go to discuss about your title, okay, let us go forward with our presentation for our class first, okay? Alright, so you can look at your own slides. I will present mine. Okay, so in the last class, we already discussed, basically, you already should know what is theory, what is scientific theory, and then we've already seen, okay, what theory is in communication study. Okay, we've already looked at very fast, generally, the historical development of the theory. Okay, the first trend was mass society theory. So during this time, okay, the theory was mostly made based on assumptions. Okay, they were not really scientific. Why weren't they scientific? Because at that time, media itself is new. All right, and those people who learned about the media or who made these theories also are learning. All right, they're only getting acquainted with the media. So they don't have much evidence. They don't have much, what we call it, other studies or other research to look at. So, but as time developed, okay, we moved from this idea of mass society to limited effects. Limited effects is, on the other hand, says that media have very small influence on people. Why? Because this group of theories say everything must be scientific. You must show evidence. If you say there is influence, show the influence. How did you measure the influence? Okay, why suddenly they become scientific? Because now they have learned, the theorists, and they were influenced by other disciplines like psychology and then science. So they discovered there are ways, there are new methodologies. And all of these are important to say that your evidence or your research is scientific. Okay, and then we moved again, we said, oh, then there was the influence of the socialist or the communist or the Marxist. And then this again changed the idea of theories. Okay, instead of just saying limited effects, then theories become macro again, right? Because they say you cannot just look at small effects by sacrificing, okay, other things like the effect on culture, right? Or how, okay, media is essentially maintaining status quo or the ones in power. Okay, so like I said, this historical development is important so that you understand why certain theory has different way of looking at things. Okay, different theory have different values, have different methods, have different goals. Okay, so when you choose your theory, you must look at the goal of the theory and the method of the theory, whether it satisfies your own desires. Okay, your own what we call it, requirement for your research. Okay, is your research only looking at things that are factual, or are you trying to criticize? Okay, so this is all the what we call it, evaluations or the characteristics that you have to look at. Okay, and from this development, then you come to the 4 categories of theory. What are the 4 categories of theory? Can you remember, based on the last class, it's very important. What are the 4 categories of theories? You may not know all of the theories, but you must know the 4 categories.
Post-positivist theory,
Yes, very good, Zahra. Post-positivist theories. Post-positivist theories limited to which development, which trend?
during Lazarsfeld,
Lazarsfeld. Okay, so they are limited effect.
limited effects.
Okay. Why do we call them post-positivists? Remember, I said positivism is science. Okay, things that are very factual. We try to be factual, but we cannot all the time, 100%. So that's why we are post-positivist. Okay. But those people who don't agree about, studying humans and say that human relationships or media influence are objective, they don't agree. They say cannot be objective. Somebody is trying to control somebody. Somebody is trying to benefit. So what kind of theory is that? Which theory? Which theory says that the media is not fair? Okay. For example, it is maintaining the power of the Americans. Which theory? Just like the name suggests, critical theory.
Critical theory.
Alright. And from critical theory, we have cultural theory. So cultural theory, like critical theory, they don't believe that the media is objective. Okay, they do agree that the media is being controlled by someone or somebody or certain culture. But at the same time, they don't think that audiences are passive. That means although the media is trying to control them, you people or audiences are able to find ways, okay, to overcome or to adapt with this power. Okay, those are cultural studies. And then lastly, you have what theory? Last one, normative. Okay, so normative theory is different from these three because it really just talk about systems. Okay, the ideal way or the best way, okay, a media system should be managed or administered. Okay, so that is like a summary of what we have studied in the last class. And like I always tell you, the 4 categories are very important. Okay? So some of you later on, when you do your research, you say, oh, I want to do uses and gratification theory. So when you use uses and gratification theory, you must know what are the assumptions of uses and gratification theory. Uses and gratification theory come from which category? Do you know? Is it a critical theory? Is it a cultural theory? Is it a post-positivist theory?
Critical.
Okay. Uses and gratification is actually post-positivist. Okay? Because when you use the theory, you don't criticize or you don't question any power structure. You just want to look at how people use the media. Okay, that is uses and gratification. Alright. Unless you use, like I said, feminist study. The feminist study is critical. So this is very important, like I said, right? Because when you want to do your research, what is it? What is your stand? Are you feeling that you need to criticize or comment? Or is it that your purpose is just to understand what's going on?
Doctor, what about agenda setting? Is post-positivist also?
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
What about agenda setting? It is a post-positivist theory.
Yes. All right. Yes, very good question. Agenda setting it is a post-positivist theory. All right. But of course, like I said, theories change. Sometimes, okay, even though it's post-positivist, okay, in your what we call this analysis, you can still be critical.
Yeah. Doctor, I mean, for agenda setting, if we seen how the author development the second level. Maybe the second level can be a critical.
Yes, in your interpretation. Yes. Okay. All right. So this is why, right? of course, some theories, okay, they have a combination, but mostly they are like agenda setting is really, it started off post-positivist. Okay, but of course, when you find out your findings and then you see, oh, it's not balanced, okay, that is being used by the West, you can use some interpretation. Okay, why do we say agenda setting is post-positivist? Because it has specific methods. Okay, and its main objective, okay, is really not to criticize the government or to criticize the West. It is really to see how newspapers or how media frame a particular story. Okay. All right. So today we're going to go into more detail. All right, to better understand what we mean by mass society theory, which is the first trend. Okay. So what is this first trend? Okay, some people call it propaganda. All right, until now also propaganda is very popular, right? What do we mean by propaganda? It's when we try to send a message and make people believe that message to be true.
Yeah.
Even if the message is right or wrong, it's not the question. People believe it. Okay, propaganda. And media has always been seen as a tool for propaganda, especially mass media. Why? Because one message, like I said, especially in the old days, right? We have mass media, TV, radio, newspaper. They're mass media. Means what? They have, the source is one, but the receiver is big. Okay? So when government or when some authorities send a message, it will be received by almost everyone. Okay? And in the old days, right, in the 50s, in the 60s, it's not like today. Today, for example, we can question, we can write on Facebook, we got alternative source of news. All right, you don't believe the TV, you go see Facebook or you comment on Facebook. But in the old days, people have no way of answering back. So mass media, the communication is one way. Can you understand? So when there is one-way communication, that is why they believe that the power of the media is very strong. Okay? So, but when we talk about theories, we must remember this theory, every theory is developed from at a particular time, within a particular context, particular culture, particular history. Can you follow? Okay? Because when we talk about mass society, this is a theory that is developed in the industrial age in America. This theory was not developed by an Arab living in an Islamic culture. Okay? Or it's not developed by a Malay woman living in the village. You must understand, right? This is what we mean by the ontology and axiology of a theory. Okay? So this theory is specifically developed in America during a time where they are experiencing the industrial age. Mass society theory. So what kind of society did we have at that time? Okay, in America. Okay, so like I said previously, in America in the early 1900s, they were not involved in the war. They were already focused on development and modernization. Okay, why do they want to be modern so much? Because they too, like us, used to be colonized. And now they got their freedom. And they say to be free, you must be modern. Okay? What is this idea of the modern man? Modernity. You know what's modern or not? Okay? We always use the word modern, but we don't really understand what it means. Okay? That's why some post-positivism is also related to postmodernism or modernism. Okay? This modern is the idea that man, human, every one of us, okay, is in control of our own life. Okay, of our own fate. That's why you always hear, right, America, they have the talk about American dream. Have you heard of this word, the American dream? Have you heard about it? American dream.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
What does it mean, American dream? Yes? Ubaidillah, what do you know of this American dream?
I'm not sure yet, but I just have
You have
heard
heard it.
about it. Yes, I
Okay.
don't know the details about it.
Okay, sometimes when you watch American drama, American TV, they talk about the American dream. And that a lot of people, refugees, okay, or immigrants, they come to the US because they want the American dream. Okay? Because remember, okay, always remember of the context, the condition at that time. The world was at war. Okay? In Asia, in the Middle East. So people there have no freedom. Okay, no matter how hard you work, no matter how smart you are, but when your country is at war, you cannot do anything, isn't it? Alright, no matter how intelligent also. Okay, but you go to America, they're not at war. And they tell you, whoever you are, whether you're a man, woman, Arab, Muslim, whatever, if you work hard, you can be successful. Can you follow or not? We believe in this idea also, right? Right? You determine your fate, okay? No regrets. You can do whatever you want. All of these modern, very Western ideas. Okay? Because it gives us confidence, it motivates us, right? It tells us we decide, okay? But on the other hand, it's very un-Islamic, right? When we feel that we are in control of everything. Are we in control of our own fate? As Muslims, no. Okay? In the modern idea, you are the center of your world. Okay? That's why they say, they motivate you, right? Nobody can do anything to you. Nobody can break your dream. So you are the center of your world. That is modernism. Alright? So this freedom or independence, okay, why is it important to the American psyche? Because before that, people were having another way of thinking, that they are always dependent on something else. When they were a colony, they were dependent on the British. Like us, when we were at war, we were dependent on the British, we were dependent on the Japanese. You get what I'm saying? They are the ones controlling us. Okay? So this idea of a free America is that no one controls you. Okay? So as a result, the Americans were coming to the city, okay, because they believe, okay, to be modern must be industrial. Okay? Must go away, break away from traditional way of life. Okay, so no longer do they want to do farming. They want to go for technology. Okay? So this is the image. Image of what? This is early 1900s America, full of factories, full of smoke. So actually we can blame all climate change, environmental issue on the US also. Okay, because they started early. We just followed. Okay. So at that time, although you have this idea of modernism, very optimistic, okay, it's as if everybody can be successful. In the real life, it was not so successful because not everyone can be successful. Many white American, white, black, all of these Americans, okay, came to the city because they believe in the American dream. But when they came to the city, they discovered life was hard. Life is not easy. Why not easy? Because they have to work all the time. And that's capitalism, you know, you really have to work to get money. So the change in their life, from the old urban, rural, village, together with family, together with villages, now the change in life. They go to the city, they are on their own. Okay? So what happened? So people at that time, okay, they want to get this idea of modernism, they want to be successful. Okay? But it's not easy. Especially to those immigrants or to those refugees that came to the US. Okay, they were promised that they work hard, they can be rich and successful. But it's not always just how much you work, right? Okay, because there are also people who are already rich. Okay, and those people who are already rich, they do not want you to be rich, isn't it? Okay, so when the media came, all right, so the media offered something to this mass society. Okay, this group of people who came to America, who came to the city, they work very hard, they are very tired, and they're very frustrated. Okay, why are they frustrated? Because they're not becoming as rich as fast as they should. But they were introduced to the media. What do you think would be the outcome? So the media gives them information, the media gives them entertainment. So this satisfies this group of people, right? Now, so these are the everyday people that are consuming media, new TV, new radio at that time, all right? So they suddenly experience something that is different and they change their life and culture. For example, dancing, they go dancing. For example, they like music. And then they started to read news, okay? And they start to know more about the world. Okay? They know about what's going on in other parts of the world. Okay? And then they start to watch movies. And then the movies show them about the lives of, usually people, the movie will show you life of rich people or poor people.
Rich people.
When you watch movie, yes, it's always life of rich people. TV, no matter where you are, they always show the life of rich people. Okay, so then they expose this group of people, okay, to the lives of the rich people, and they say, hey, I work hard too, but how come the rich, okay, having this better life than me? So there people start to question a lot. They don't just accept the American dreams. Can you follow what I'm saying? All right. So as a result, okay, there was a lot of changes in the way people live, the way people understand things. So those people, okay, who study the media at that time, okay, they are, okay, for example, this is society, right? This is society. But you have a small group of people who are probably the professors, the elites, okay? And this is in the early years, right? Not many people are educated. So this small group of people were looking at how media influence others. Okay. Okay, so you must understand that this mass society theory comes from the assumption of this small group of elites. Small group of professors, academicians, rich people looking at how media influence the mass society. So that's why they feel that the influence is really powerful and negative. Okay. So according to the idea is that the media are powerful force within society that can subvert essential norms and values and thus undermine the social order. The media brings so much new values that is challenging the social order. What do we mean social order? Okay. Originally, you have a lot of these people, mass society, not so rich. So many of them down there. Okay, and then you have rich people on top. So this is the order. But when media give a lot of ideas, okay, these people down here, they're starting to think and they want to challenge the social order. You got what I'm saying? So challenge social order. For example,
Yeah.
rich also. Okay. For example, okay, I've been working at the factory for 10 years. Now I need to become the boss. So I will find ways to become the boss. Will the boss be happy? Cannot. Then the boss is not happy because you have challenge. This is challenging social order. So those who create these theories are the boss, you know, the academics, they are up there. And they say, oh, this is dangerous. Okay? Those people no longer have the old way of thinking. They don't think like the rural people anymore. They come to the city, they want new things. They want to challenge us. So they believe, oh, because it's challenging the order, okay, the media must be brought under elite control. Okay, because they see the media so powerful, they say, oh, the government must control the media in the early years. Can you understand or not? Okay, because media are able to directly influence the minds of average people, transforming their views of the social world. Can you understand what it means here? Okay, imagine those immigrants, right? Okay, there were a lot of Arab immigrants, Indian immigrants that came to the US in the early years. They cannot speak English. They don't know the American culture. Okay, but where did they learn? When did they start to change the way they think? When they were exposed to the media. Okay, so when they are transformed to a new social order, that means they believe that I also belong in this world. Okay, that to belong in this world, I have to do these things. Okay, so once people's thinking is transformed by the media, all sorts of bad long-term consequences will likely to result. Not only bringing ruin to individual lives, but also creating social problems on a vast scale. Now, this is the assumption in the early years. Okay, because people are getting too much ideas, they are changing the way they live. And when people change rapidly, it will disrupt the social order. Okay, what kind of social order? For example, during the industrialization, they also discovered, there is an increase in crimes. You know what I mean? Crimes, right? Stealing, killing. Okay, so they say, oh, people are changing the social order. You know, they are stealing things because they want to be rich like the rich people. And this is challenging the social order. Okay. So they see, this theory assumes that average people are vulnerable to media because in mass society, they are cut off and isolated from traditional social institutions that previously protected them from manipulation. Okay, what's this? It means that these people, mass society, so easily influenced because they are weak. Why are they weak? Because in America at that time, these people are living in the city on their own. Not like in the old days where they were in the village with their family and with their, what we call it, community. When they were there, they were protected. The way they think, okay, were defined by the community. But now they come here alone. They need to work day and night. So the way they think are not protected by anyone. And when they get message from the media, it's always, like I said, one way. Okay? So that's why they believe that the power of media is very strong. So social chaos can happen. Okay? By media will likely be resolved by an establishment of a totalitarian social order. Mass media inevitably debase higher forms of culture, bringing about a general decline in civilization. Okay, because they believe in the end there will be social chaos, which is kind of true even until today. Okay, the media can create a lot of uprising, you know, political uprising, okay, mobs, okay. So they say that the media will create social chaos. So there needs to be control. So who to control? According to them, the elites. Who are these elites? Rich people, government, someone who have power. Because they believe the elites are smarter. These other people are not so smart. Everyday people are not so smart. That's why they are easily influenced. Okay, and it is here that mass media debase higher forms of culture. Remember, this is somewhat like very discriminative lah, this theory, because it is from the point of view of the elites. Okay, and they say, oh, you look at the media, look at what kind of entertainment they give you, dancing, okay, What else? I don't know. Acting, okay, singing, okay.
Movies,
Sorry?
movies, videos.
Please, make people dream. According to the elites, okay, culture should be like the opera, going to galleries, very smart, very intelligent. Okay, so they say that this is very bad, that media will bring decline in civilization.
Yeah.
Okay,
Change all society.
kind of true today.
About
Isn't
vowel
it?
is back specifically. If we need to speak about vowel, for example, how the media playing to change it for make like a globalization.
Yes. Okay. So that means so what I'm trying to say is, yes, okay, there is some truth to the assumptions that are being made by this theory. Okay, that media is, changing the social order. Media can create chaos. Media can, bring decline in civilization. We expect media to inform us and make us more intelligent. But at the same time, media is making us, sometimes you watch the media, it's as if we are animals already, right? We see women dancing around like they have no modesty, dancing, jumping, okay, and then we find entertainment. Today, what is entertainment today? Everything is entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay?
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay, you watch people eat. That's entertainment.
How the family is living, for example, in Europe.
Okay. Okay, and then some people like crazy things, they like to watch videos of people eating cockroach or something like that. So that is truth, because it does bring a decline in civilization. We become less intelligent. Okay. But this is the assumption at that time. But they don't provide strong evidence. They don't provide strong, detailed explanation. They just assume based on their observation. Okay? And unfortunately, these observations are made by the elites. Okay? So there is some strengths and weaknesses to this theory. What is the advantage of this theory? Because it speculates about important effects. It starts to talk about effects. What is it that the media does? Okay, that you cannot look at the media and say, oh, media have no influence. Okay, and then it highlights important structural changes and conflicts in modern cultures. Okay, that today we have a lot of conflicts between the rich and the poor, all right, conflicts between the West and the East. Okay, and the media accelerate this. Okay, and it also draws attention to issues of media ownership and ethics. So here, because the theory assumes that media is very powerful, okay, then who is media? Whoever owns the media has the power. And are they ethical with the power that they have? But unfortunately, the weaknesses to this theory is that it is unscientific. I already told you. What do we mean unscientific? It doesn't tell us the methods. You said just now, the media brings a decline in civilization. How to measure? Okay, how to measure? How to tell me? How to show me? Provide me straight factual evidence.
I mean, doctor, don't have models in this theory?
Models and what?
Model in this theory?
Yes. This theory did not provide any model. Okay, so that's why they are considered unscientific.
Yeah.
It is just based on assumption. Okay? And it is not systematic. and it promulgated by elites. This is what I mean just now. Because this theory was produced by this group of people looking at those people at the bottom. Okay?
Doctor.
And it underestimates, yes?
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
It means that many theories cannot apply it in our research if they don't have model to investigate, for example, any phenomenon in society.
Okay, yes. If it's an academic paper, it is best to use theories that have specific models. Okay, so this is why we are talking about historical development. That this type of theory is the old theory, and we cannot make this kind of assumptions because they are not scientific. But you will see that theories will develop. That means they will change. So this theory also today, some of it is still relevant. Some of the ideas. Okay? Alright? But nobody uses mass society theory anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's not sophisticated, it's old. Alright? And it underestimates people's intelligence and the competence of the average people. Alright? That people have ways to understand things, and it doesn't mean that media can influence everyone the same way. Okay? And it underestimates personal, societal, and cultural barriers to direct media influence. Okay? Now, because it is just an assumption, it is not detailed. Okay? A scientific theory is usually very detailed. So the theories, usually with scientific, it must already consider personal, societal, cultural things. Okay? But that are not available in this theory. One of the earliest theory under mass society is propaganda. Okay? Propaganda. I'm sure all of you have heard the word propaganda. Okay? Sometimes you hear about a story and you say, oh, it's just propaganda. Okay? Propaganda is always heard in a negative light. Why is it always seen as a negative thing? Sometimes it's not really negative. Okay, it's really about trying to control people's opinion. Okay, but it's usually misused. Okay, so propaganda, when people started to realize that media can influence, okay, they feel that, oh, we can use the media to control, okay, or to gain power. And mostly we see this in politics. Okay, politicians who use the media, they often create propaganda. Okay, politicians or anyone who has the ability or the power to do so. Okay, so this is Mao Zedong. Who is Mao Zedong? Okay, the father of communism in China. Old, okay, very old communist poster, 1968. All right, so we don't have a Chinese student here. I don't know what this reads. Okay, but I know it means something like colonel. You know, Colonel Mao is the flower in my heart. Something like that. This is what my Chinese student told me. This is the meaning of the poster. Okay. So what is the idea of this poster? Okay.
All people following the leader.
Yes, all people. Okay. Take Colonel Mao as the flower in your heart. This is the way the Chinese, right? They like to use expressions. Okay. So this is a propaganda to support the idea of communism. That this is the leader and we follow. And the follower not only Chinese, you can see. Okay, there's the blacks, the West. Okay, they all follow Colonel Mao. Okay, but the old propaganda, traditional propaganda, is very direct. People now are much smarter. Okay, you cannot use direct propaganda anymore. People are very smart already. They can know this is propaganda. This is very, somebody is trying to control us. So nowadays, propaganda is very subtle, not like here. Why did this poster work at that time? Because at that time, this is the only poster. All right, no other what we call it leader or the capitalist cannot come into China and create their own poster. Okay, so whatever that comes out from the communist is easily what we call it believed. Okay, propaganda. But today, do we still have a lot of propaganda also? Okay, because what is propaganda? It is actually a communication strategy. Although we think it as something that is negative, it is actually a strategy. Okay? That Muslims, for example, must have a very intelligent propaganda to influence the rest of the world that we are good people, that we are not terrorists. Okay? So the ultimate goal of a propagandist is to change the way people act and to leave them believing that those actions are voluntary, that the newly adopted behaviors and the opinions underlying them are their own. Propaganda, okay, is supposed to be a communication strategy that is so sophisticated, okay, that it will change people's mind without people thinking that their mind has been changed. Okay, that people will believe whatever the propagandists tell them, and they think that this is their own idea, their own beliefs. Okay, can you follow what I am saying so far? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here the idea, okay, this is actually even a propaganda poster in the US. Okay, we see the image of different type of women, the African, the Latino, the Muslims, but they are all in the American flag color. What is the propaganda here?
To believe that American is for many kind of people, maybe type of races, maybe.
Yes. Okay, this is to create the idea that everyone's an American. Okay, everyone's an American and that there is no racial issue in the US. Okay, that an American is also black, Muslim, and Latino, not just white. Okay, so this is to us maybe somewhat like a positive propaganda. Okay, because it allows us to feel, oh, the Americans are not that bad, that they accept the Muslims as well. But for Donald Trump supporter, for example, this is negative propaganda. They will say, hey, this is very evil. They're trying to tell us that Muslims, Latinos, and blacks are just the same like us, the white. Okay? Can you follow so far? Right? Propaganda. But the problem with propaganda, okay, because it is a strategy, sometimes it is misused. Okay, they use very questionable methods to convince people. Okay, like misinformation and disinformation. These words are very important and very popular to do. Okay, what is misinformation?
Speak about
Yes.
about fake news to give the audience misinformation about the topic or about the phenomenon in society for audience specifically.
Okay, so misinformation is when you give wrong information or bad information without realizing that this information is wrong. Okay. On the other hand, disinformation is false information spread about the opposition to discredit it. That means this information is wrong information, okay, or false information purposefully distributed. Can you see the differences? Misinformation is wrong, but most of the time people who spread it don't realize that it's wrong and it's causing problem. On the other hand is disinformation. There are people who spread lies. Okay? So like today, there is the issue of vaccination and misinformation. Sometimes probably, okay, there are people who do not believe in vaccination, so they write certain things and they share on WhatsApp. Okay? Their beliefs, they truly believe what they write. They think they are right because they say, oh, I've learned it from the ustaz. Okay? So, although the information is wrong because they don't think it is wrong, okay, because they think that they have done the research, it is misinformation. Can you follow what I'm saying so far? And then they start to share it with their friends. And their friends do not know whether it's wrong or right. It just sounds okay. It sounds believable. You start to share again. This is misinformation. And misinformation is just as dangerous as disinformation because it is still wrong information. Okay? So misinformation, like they say, vaccination causes a lot of health issues. Okay, vaccination can kill unborn babies. So there is no proper evidence. Okay? On the other hand, you have disinformation. Sometimes politicians, okay, they create lies or gossip about another politician to discredit, okay, to make people believe in about the bad things. Can you understand so far? Disinformation, all right? And then you have here black propaganda versus grey propaganda. Black propaganda is the deliberate, strategic transmission of lies. Okay? Black propaganda. Okay? On the other hand, you have grey propaganda. Transmission of information or ideas that might or might not be false, but they don't determine whether the information is right or wrong. Like gossips. You know gossips? Those are grey propaganda. Nowadays, it's very famous, the Meghan Markle against the, what we call it, British royalty. Do you follow the issue today, now? Right, Meghan Markle said that the British royalty likes to spread lies about her or create gossip about her. Okay? That this is somewhat like a propaganda to bring down her good name. We can consider this as grey propaganda. Can you follow what I'm saying? Sometimes in the newspaper you read about a gossip. Oh, Meghan Markle is like this, like this, like this. Okay? Maybe there is some truth, but not the whole truth. Okay? So this is misinformation. Grey propaganda. Grey propaganda. Can you understand so far? Black is very direct. It's lies. Okay, like, you know, in the times of Donald Trump, we can see a lot of evidence of the lies he spread on Twitter. Okay? So actually, okay, when someone is smart enough to understand the media and can strategize very, effectively communication, they can produce opinions, or they can, what Chomsky says as engineering of consent. That they can use certain propaganda strategies to convince people. Okay? To convince people to agree. Okay? To agree to what? To agree to a lot of things that sometimes we feel, this doesn't make sense, but people agree. Okay? Like here. Okay, this is Newsweek. Okay. So what kind of image are they putting in front? This is a child, but the child looks very violent, like a child army holding a weapon. Okay. Why they hate us? The roots of Islamic rage. What can we do about it? By Farid Zakaria. So we don't know whether this Farid Zakaria is a Muslim or whatsoever. But point is, there is a propaganda here trying to discredit the Muslims. Okay? So far can follow? Okay?
Yeah, Doctor.
So we talked about just now the black and grey propaganda, right? So here, it's somewhat like a grey propaganda because they don't tell us the Muslims hate us because what? They just try to explain, why they hate us, or they just put this image. Okay, although this image, okay, is really trying to send very strong message. Okay, they could have easily, for example, okay, say, okay, in a nice way, what is the issue? What are the Muslim issues? Okay, what is happening to the Muslim world? And they can put a nice face of Muslims, but instead they choose to do this. Okay, so there is another intention.
Doctor,
Yes.
why is not under black propaganda?
Okay, because black propaganda is got to be real lies. Okay, but lies. Okay, for example, Muslims killed 10 million US citizens every year. This because this is Newsweek, so it's grey propaganda. But if you read tabloids, tabloids, they don't care. They're just going to write lies. Okay, or just like, gossip magazines, gossip newspapers. Okay. So, what propaganda theory, is it still powerful today? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because why? Because you cannot deny propaganda is there, and that there are people who are using propaganda to influence the world, right? So Laswell was one of the first political scientists to recognize the usefulness of various psychological theories and demonstrate how they could be applied to understanding and controlling politics. So what this means is that the propaganda theory today is more sophisticated than the original one. Okay, it has gone through some kind of development. Like here, Harold Laswell has improved on the original idea by providing more explanation. Okay, for example, he says, okay, how did propaganda occur? Because there is the condition of behaviorism. Okay, behaviorism says that the more people are exposed to a certain stimuli, okay, and in this sense are information, they are bound to believe it. Can you follow? So instead of saying just bad information, he mentions the term environmental stimuli. Okay, what does this mean? Like I said, okay, it shows that this theory has become more sophisticated. It has become more detailed. It tells us how the propaganda occurs. Propaganda occurs because it changes people's behavior through, okay, massive, okay, distribution of information. Okay, and Laswell also was influenced by Freudianism. Okay, Sigmund Freud. Have you heard of Sigmund Freud? Okay, because Freud says that every one of us have id, ego, and super ego. Okay, what is the id? Id is our bad side. Super ego is our good side, while ego is the balanced one. Okay, so according to this theory, okay, a propaganda is successful depending on a person's own id, ego, and super ego. Okay, the key here is I'm not trying to teach you fraud. I am telling you that propaganda theory has developed. That it has included models. It has included more detailed explanation. So on one hand, this theory has become more scientific than the original one. Okay, because the original one was made only on assumption. Okay, so here, ego and superego. So according to this theory, okay, to understand how a person or a community is influenced by a propaganda, we must look at their ego and superego. Okay, propaganda will probably much easier, will influence those who have less education more than those who are educated. You can make those hypotheses. Why? Because you follow the theory here. Because the theory says, oh, okay, those who are educated will have more ego. They will have reason and self-control. So they will not get influenced by propaganda as much as those with less education, because those people probably are driven by their id. Can you understand? So this means it helps us explain the influence of propaganda. Okay. And then last one also say, okay, there are another ways, okay, to inform us about propaganda. Because it says, okay, that propaganda can create psychosis. What is psychosis? It is a condition that affects the way your brain processes information. It causes you to lose touch of reality. You might see, hear, or believe things that aren't real. This is psychology. Psychology says that sometimes human can experience psychosis. In extreme way, psychosis is like, you know, kena rasuk, you start to believe in ghosts. Okay, hysteria, psychosis, you start to see things that are not there. Those are, you know, extreme psychosis. But in terms of media influence, there are some kinds of elements of psychosis. Okay, your own experience, I'm sure you sometimes, okay, the media is able to tell you, to make you believe in certain things. Okay, like what? Do you experience psychosis when you watch movie? When you watch horror movie? What happens when you watch horror movie or cerita hantu, okay, or serial killer movies? What happened? You get scared or not?
Yes.
Alright. After 2 years watching the movie also, you're still scared to go to the toilet with the light off. You can still see the Ju-on. You know Ju-on, I don't know what else, other kind of hantu you have. You can still see the Pontianak when you close your eyes. And then you become scared. That is an example of psychosis. Can you understand? You start to believe things that are not real. So if something like hantu we can believe, what more if it is something that is very sophisticatedly designed, like political messages, okay, or even religious messages? We can start to think and start to believe. Okay. So because, all right, and then what we call this, propaganda, sometimes they use symbols. Okay, symbols that are associated with strong emotions and possess the power to stimulate large-scale mass action. Okay, for example, okay, here, instead of saying let's go to war, or instead of saying the American military is looking for new recruits, they say defend American freedom. It's everybody's job. So they use a master or a symbol. What is the symbol here? For example here, American American freedom. Instead of selling the idea of we need to go to war, they say we need to protect American freedom. Can you understand? Or you see here the Obama Hope poster. Okay, what is this Obama Hope poster? This is when he wanted to campaign. What is the master here? The things, the symbol, okay, that helps people to believe in Obama. What is the symbol or the master here? What is the attractive part here? Not really his face.
For
It's the
the
words.
message, yeah, the message for, yeah, I mean, give the people the future and hopefully to when the people living in America
And the world also, right?
yeah, of course.
Why do I say this is a propaganda? Because everyone in the world believes in Obama. Okay, we feel like Obama can help us, but actually he's not our president. We don't even should care about Obama, but we all think Obama is good.
Yeah.
All right, we believe because we believe he gives us hope, even though we're not Americans. Okay, he gave hope to Americans, but doesn't really give hope to all of us, but all of us believe him. Right? We all like Obama. But what have he done for us? Actually, nothing much.
Yeah.
Okay? But we like him. So he has a very good campaign strategy. Okay? Selling master, selling symbols. Okay? So his poster, not like in Malaysia, you know, where our politicians will detail out everything he has done for us. And then we don't like to read that. Very boring, very, is that all you've done? Okay, so here, very smart, only one word. Okay, so this is communication strategy and this is also propaganda. So that's why I say propaganda today is no longer just a negative term. It is mostly a communication strategy. How do you sell your message? Okay, but in the old days, because they believe that propaganda is so powerful, okay, they say that there has to be scientific technocracy. Alright, because remember mass society in the early days, they say the media must be controlled. Okay, the educated social science-based elites must protect vulnerable average people from propaganda. Okay, but today no one can protect you from propaganda. Governments also don't protect their people from propaganda because sometimes we don't even know it's a propaganda. Okay, so here, Laswell. Okay, Laswell again. Why do we use the name Laswell a lot? Because Laswell brought the idea of mass society to become more scientific. That propaganda theory is not just an assumption saying that media can influence people. He has broken it down and provide us a model and tell us how. To look at propaganda and how powerful it is, we look at who says what, using what channel, to whom, with what effect. So when you see this model, automatically you already can see how to measure. How to measure the propaganda? You look at who created the message, which medium they used. See, this is what we mean becoming more scientific. All right. So the Laswell model is very helpful to those who wants to use propaganda theory. So this answers your question just now, Yahya. Okay. There are some theories, okay, like agenda setting are positivist, but it helps answer. But like propaganda is a mass society theory. It believes in strong influence. But now we have a model. In the old days, no model. So that's why you have to do literature review. Literature review will tell you, okay, the current way of looking at a theory. Okay, because the theory 20 years ago is different from the theory today, although the name is the same. The goal may be the same, but the methods, okay, the values have changed, right? Now I want to share about propaganda, right? Grey propaganda. It's not just about politics and power. Okay, it is also changing lifestyle and culture. Okay, you know who this is? Can you see the photo?
I think this Britney Spears.
Yeah, Britney Spears? No,
Yeah.
Britney Spears very old already. Taylor Swift. Yeah. Your generation Britney Spears, is it? Okay, never mind lah. This is just an example of a typical American song. Actually, it could just be Britney Spears, it could be anyone. But you know how American songs, okay, have values in them. All right, but not just young people, even us, okay, not just teenagers, we like to sing them without understanding or reading the lyrics. Okay, so when we keep singing it and then we share it, okay, we share the information and we share the content of the message. Okay, why do I want to talk about this song? I forgot what is the name of the song. Okay, nobody likes Taylor Swift here? No? Okay, next time I use Britney Spears example. So here the song is, what is the song? You need to calm down. I think that's what the song is about. But the song here talks about, okay, it's actually talking about supporting LGBT.
Yeah, because I see some men
Rainbow
like
colors.
both
Some
made
rainbow
up.
colors and a lot of your girlfriends here.
Yeah.
Yes? So in here she talks about the Equality Act. So you know the Equality Act in the US, they're trying to push, okay, that man can be woman, woman can be man, you marry whoever, equality. Right? So this is very dangerous because this is challenging the social order.
Yes.
This does challenge social order. But the problem, this is somewhat like a propaganda. Why? Because we keep seeing it, we keep watching it, we start to believe it.
Yeah. It's make normal.
Yeah, it becomes normal that our children growing up and see a lot of these images and they think this is normal. And they start to believe this is true. And you know, start to question, why can't men be with men? That's not fair. That's not human. It's just love, right? This is what they tell you. You love who you love.
Yeah.
So we start to believe. This is very dangerous. Cultural messages to me is more dangerous than political propaganda. Okay, political propaganda usually are very obvious. Okay, but this kind of propaganda, okay, it's fun. It comes in a song that you can dance to. All right. So what is the strength of modern propaganda theory? Okay, the highlight is modern, not the old one. It is first systematic theory. It becomes systematic. Why is it systematic? This is what I said.
Yeah.
We have model and then we have explanation. They tell us in detail how it happens. Okay? And then it focuses attention on why media might have powerful effects. Okay? And it identifies personal, social, and cultural factors. Okay, what do we mean by personal? This is personal factors. Different people have the ego and superego. So different people are persuaded differently. Okay, so when you choose this theory, for example, you can focus specifically on the personal, or you can focus specifically on cultural. Okay, and then it focuses attention to use the campaigns to cultivate symbols. Remember, okay, I said just now, propaganda used lots of symbols. The symbols itself you can study, like what here? What symbol? The rainbow color, these images of transvestites. Okay?
People characters like this.
Characters, symbol, right? They show us here. Okay, they show what? They show it's fun, they show love. Okay, they don't show it's wrong. They show that it is attractive, it's nice.
It's reality in life.
Reality, it's human rights. That's what they show. That's the symbol. Okay? What is the weakness? Again, it underestimates abilities of average people to evaluate message. Some people can evaluate message. Some people can find the problem with this. Okay? Some will be more sensitive to what they are singing. They hear and then they know what it means. And they don't agree. Okay? It ignores, okay, certain things that can limit effects. Okay? And it overestimates the speed and range of media effects. Okay? Because still, this is a mass society theory. It believes in very powerful effects. It believes that effects come in large, strong. Okay? Strong, large size. Okay? Another theory is public opinion. Public opinion is an example of a mass society theory. Okay? And it's related to propaganda. Okay? Lippmann, Walter Lippmann is the guy. You probably, Prof. Syed will teach you this if you take PR, public relation. Public opinion theory is very much used in public relations. Lippmann shared Laswell's skepticism about the ability of average people to make sense of their social world and to make rational decisions about their actions. Okay, so Lippmann, on the other hand, he says, okay, yes, people tend to believe what they see in the media. And because of this, we can use the media to create public opinion. Persuade, just now, propaganda is just to persuade or change people's belief. But we can do more. That means what? We can change their opinion. Change opinion in terms of what? For example, to go vote. Public opinion is often used in political comp. Alright? During election, you don't know who to vote for. Okay? So once you use the media, after 1 hour, you already know how to who to vote. Why? Because it depends on the information that you are given to you. Okay? So here, right? So this is just a cartoon to say, oh, the only way to overcome media propaganda, okay, the influence of media is just to what? To switch off the media. Why? Because the media's power is very strong. You switch on, no matter how strong you are, you will get access to information. And this information will affect you. Okay? That when you switch on your TV, the news that you see is probably going to be an American news. That the TV programs that you watch are American TV programs. So whether you like it or not, the way you think, the way you see things are already somewhat influenced by the American culture. Okay? Now, here, just to introduce this, okay, in relation to the next chapter. Okay? Now, just now we say, okay, because of the idea of mass society, the elites believe you must control the media. There must be some scientific technocrats. Someone must control the media, government must control the media. But the media, Western media you see today, is being controlled by anyone? Okay, or are they free? Western media, American media. Is American media have limited freedom, or are they free? What do you
Free, they are free.
Right? So generally, we see American media as being very free. But how come in the early days, you see that they demand for control? So after this, we will learn about normative theory. Okay? And one of the normative theory is libertarianism. Libertarianism, okay, seeks to maximize political freedom and autonomy, emphasize freedom of choice, voluntary association, and individual judgment. So libertarianism, that we can say the American media is liberal. Okay? How come it's liberal when early on they say that the media is very powerful? Okay? So later we will study the connection. because then they start to realize that the media is very much important in the capitalist idea, that you cannot control the media, and the media is not parallel to their principles. You know how the American principle is freedom of expression. Okay. All right. So that is it for mass society theory. Okay, very straightforward, just to explain to you, okay, about why media in the old days is seen as being very powerful, and then it has developed several theories on its own. But the theories today, mass society theories today, have gone through a lot of development, and they are more sophisticated. Okay. Any questions with regards to the topic?
Doctor, can you say that brand or product placement on the drama or TV show is a part of propaganda?
Yes, we can say that, okay? But of course, the theory now have more refined. Okay, in the old days when you don't have much theory, you call it propaganda. But now, because there's a lot of research and theories, okay, there are smaller, more detailed theories that explain that. We can say, oh, that is theory of social marketing, theory of advertising, but actually the idea is the same as propaganda.
The base idea is still propaganda, right?
Yes. Okay. But when you do the research, it depends on your objective. Okay. Yes. Any other questions?
Yes,
Okay.
Doctor. How about advertising? Is it propaganda? Advertising.
No, like I mentioned just now, advertising, the idea of advertising, social marketing have in them the concepts of propaganda, which is trying to change people's opinion to make them believe. But when we do research today, usually we don't relate anymore advertising to propaganda, because advertising in itself is already very detailed and have its own explanation. Okay?
So how we can determine either this is a propaganda, this is another type of theory that related to the propaganda. So how we want to determine?
That's why I say it depends on your research objective and research questions. Okay? If you want to study in your research questions, are there ideas of Western cultural imperialism in the Rejoice or hair shampoo advertisement? Then you can start to use like propaganda theory, cultural imperialism theory. Okay, but if your theory is only saying how did Rejoice shampoo manage to attract Muslim girls to buy the product, it does not necessarily mean propaganda. It could be just the strategy that they use, social marketing theory. So it depends on what is it you want to find out.
So there is a maybe a theme or a topic that this is part of propaganda, and another topic is not a but part of propaganda.
Yes.
So basically, when we say when we talk about the culture, about the this is a political, so this is a propaganda, and then we talk about the brand. It's not propaganda, like that.
In general, you can say that. In general. Okay, but I wouldn't say that it's conclusive, because there are many other considerations that you must take lah. Yes, but if there is like some political or cultural inclinations, there are usually some ideas of propaganda. Okay. All right. Okay, so with regards to your own topic and your own papers, so how? Have you read and find 3 articles? Just 3, okay? Like Zahra.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you want to study the influence of Azlin, right? Okay, and you say, okay, what kind of theory have the papers used?
From one article, Doctor, can I present? Can I prepare the slide?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Doctor, do you see my slide?
Very good. I can see them.
All right. So okay, I plan to do regarding my topics about Aida Azrin, and then I plan to do a content analysis to study about the how the author used the blog for social support or for the self growth support. So I've read some articles, like three articles regarding to this topic about blogging. First, the title of the article, Deciphering Blog Users, Young Adults' Personalities, Motivation, and Perceived Importance of Blog Features. So, the researchers use users and gratification theory. So, here, as I can, like Dr. said before, it's under post positivity story, right? But this one, because of um, the uh, the what do you call? It's focused on the users of the blog. So the authors or the researchers want to use this theory because they want to see how how the users, I mean, how the respondent, I mean, react to the blog, something like that. So the theory has been used for the second article related to blog, related to topic that I want to propose. Understanding blogging motivations in palliative care using Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So here the theory used Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This article, related to my topic, blogging, but here Maslow's hierarchy of needs because um, they want to see how the bloggers motivate themselves. I mean, to do the blogging relating to palliative care. Palliative care is it's like disease that there's no hope to get cure or something like that. Palliative. Okay, and then the third one, the third article, blogs in a changing social media environment, perspective on the future of blogging in Scandinavia. So here, also the researcher wants to see how the changing of the environment of the social media changing in that particular place, Scandinavia. So the theory uses Schmidt's analytical framework. So here's Schmidt's analytical framework. Actually, it's related to social social cultural theory something, but Schmidt is 2007, so the adaptation of the old theory from social cultural theory, something like that. So actually, for my study, because of I also do blog, but I plan to do from the perspective of the author itself. The content, I want to analyze the content. So I plan to use the theory, five canons of literary theory, which involve invention, arrangement, style, memory, and delivery. Where I want to see how the idea of the how Aida Azrin find the idea to post to post article in the blog, to share the story, how the arrangement, the content, how the style, how they use, how she used the way or how the communication style she used in delivering the message, and then the knowledge and how the delivery, something like that. So I plan to do five canons of rhetoric for my theoretical framework, but still I want your advice regarding this. And also this is my plan for research question. So yeah.
Can you say the theory again? What theory that you wanted to do?
Actually I did not include here, but
Never mind. What's the theory?
the name is a five canons of rhetoric.
5 canons what?
5 canons of rhetoric. Canons of rhetoric. Basically, it's about like
Rhetoric, right. The 5 canons is the categories lah.
So getting the invention, arrangement, arrangement. Oh, sorry. Arrangement, style of the how Aida Azin use the style to how does it impact to the readers, because here is blogging, so to the readers, memory, and also delivery. So actually I tend to use this theoretical framework to see, I mean, is Aida Azin use this kind, I mean, use all 5 canons of rhetoric, or maybe just 3 or 4 something. So
Okay. All right. I think when you use rhetoric theories, there's so many theories under rhetoric theories. I'm not sure whether the theory itself is called 5 canons of rhetoric, because that does not sound like a theory. It sounds more like a model. All right. But if you already have all this is very good, because you can already set your research questions to this.
okay.
Okay, what are the intentions to use? What are the arrangements, style, memory, each single one? Because you can measure each of these things.
Okay.
Okay, you understand? But maybe you can read more about this and see what is actually the theory. Is it just rhetoric theory? Because I think this is just a breakdown to help you measure.
Okay.
Okay?
Understood. Doctor,
Yes.
this is my plan for research question. So is it like relatable to what I'm planning to do?
Yes. It's like I said just now. Okay. How does the communication styles? Okay. So your research question is actually you can use that 5 canons just now.
Okay.
Okay. So this can be your research problem. Okay, you want to look at how Aida Azlin writes about religion and God. Okay, what kind of communication strategies she used. Okay, and to look at these communication strategies, you will look at that 5 canons just now.
Okay, understood.
Okay. This is why we want to use things that are more scientific or clear, because it's already going to help you measure, and it's going to help you create your research questions. So later on, your proposal, your literature review, your literature review must explain all of those 5 canons. Okay, and then you can see from this comes out my first research questions. My first research question is what just now, the first thing. Can you go back to the 5 canon slide?
5 canons, like, okay.
Okay.
Invention of the idea for the content.
Yes, you can have one subsection on this, and then it leads you to your first research question. Because you talk about why is the importance of invention, what is invention, okay? All right, and how this may help her write or talk about religion.
Okay. Actually, doctor, this theory it's not like related to communication field, because it's really related to something like persuasive during past time. How they use this to persuade people, but it's like longer times.
Okay, persuasive communication is also, as long as it's about the transmission of message, it is still communication.
Okay.
All right. That's why it's always best to look at how this theory is being used now. Because if this theory is no longer popular, some theory is no longer popular, so then it's not advisable to use that.
Okay, understood.
Right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Zahra. And I'm pretty sure the rest did not prepare any slides. Am I right? Did all of you
I prepare it, doctor.
Very good.
Yes,
Ina.
doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, doctor, I'm ready.
You're all ready. Very good. Okay. Okay. So, but because we are running out of time, okay, because it's already 11. Okay, can you show me your slides next week? We will start with your slides before we start class.
No problem.
Okay.
Sure, Doctor.
Okay, doctor. My pleasure.
So,
Alhamdulillah.
Bas-
I have appointment with visa, doctor.
with
Because
who?
I have appointment with visa unit at 11
Oh,
with
yeah.
visa unit.
Okay, never mind. So I also have another class after this. So never mind, we continue next week, but we'll start with presentations first. And thank you for being prepared.
thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you so
we
much,
end the class
doctor.
today with Tasbih, Kafara, and 1 hour. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome.
Assalamualaikum.